Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today we have something I think is going to be really fun. This is the JJRC H31. And the big differentiating feature that this quad has over other RTF quads is the glasses. Well, kind of. Who else ships glasses with their quads? It even has a JJRC sticker right on them. So it's not as though it was a mistake, it was meant to be in there. But the quad's differentiating feature is this thing is touted as waterproof. If you go to the GearBest website and you look around at that video, you'll see that they do some terrible things to this thing. They soak it in water, they're doing flips with this thing, and water's just spraying off of it. So we're going to test that, and I think the kids are going to have a lot of fun doing it. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun doing it. What you see in front of you is what we get out of the box. Pretty typical for the most part, except for the sunglasses. We do have an extra set of props. These props do feel very thin, but they're so flexible I can't see breaking these. I mean, can you see? Hopefully you can see just how flexible those are. Then we've got your traditional landing gate legs, we've got some prop guards, we've got our radio, we've got a USB charger. We get the screwdriver, which didn't get very cleaned up there, and then we've got some screws for our prop guards and landing legs. Let's take a look at what I do with the battery. The battery. Where's the battery? Found it. It's JJRC labeled 400 milliamp 30C. They've done something different here, maybe they're doing this more and more, where you can check the boxes for the number of charge cycles or run cycles, or maybe you count them by 10, because I would hope you can get more than 6. I know the batteries that I have like this, you can definitely get more than 6. The battery size is pretty typical of what you'll find for 380 size batteries. I'm a little bit skeptical about this being truly 400 mAh, but it might be. It does fit pretty tightly in here. There doesn't seem to be a lot of extra room. It goes in there pretty deep. You can get something a little bit longer in there. Maybe one of the batteries from Hobby King might fit in there. They're a little bit longer. But if you look at the profile here, you've got a little bit of a bump out here, but then it's got to close, and you've also got to have room for your wires. So we've got the micro low-C connector. We've got a little hatch here, closes really easily, and then if we turn this thing around, we see that it's got a port for a camera. It actually says, if I turn this correctly, cam port, and then we have an on-off switch. And I really like that on-off switch. I think that's a great idea. There's another version of this that comes with a camera. Before I get ahead of myself, I should thank GearBest. They sent me this for review, and so we're going to have some fun with it. We have lights, and there's also a light in the nose. I don't believe any of the lights show through the top. I think you can see the light from the nose from the top, though. It's very light, and it's actually also kind of flexible, but not terrible. It's much more rigid than the props, but you can see there's quite a bit of twist in there. Looks like we're running 6mm motors in there. Stickers are all done fairly nicely. The last JJRC product I flew, I believe, was the 1000. It was a much smaller unit, and that thing was very agile and very fun to fly. So on the controller, pretty traditional. This time we have no spring-loaded throttle. We got our trims, power, lanyard, light, which turns up red, and then we have the LCD here, which shows mode 1 again, just like the last one. Then it gives us our battery up there. I'm having a hard time getting some light on that. And then it's also got our connection there, and it shows it in kind of a Wi-Fi connection, whether we've got a strong signal or not. You can see all the trims are in the middle. The channel will light up once you actually bind it, I believe. These buttons turn, and it feels like there's something behind there, but it doesn't actually do anything. This one is actually stiffer than this one, but I don't believe those actually do anything. We've got our rate button over here, which we've got 3 rates, high, medium, and low, or low, medium, and high. And then we've got this button over here for our flipping function. Something that kind of caught my eye right away is on the back here. This is a traditional size of remote. You can thumb with it, or you can pinch. I guess I did that backwards. But in your hand, especially the way I fly, because sometimes I'll fly either way depending upon what I'm flying, it's actually quite comfortable. And there's a little bit of a, it feels like a different texture, but it's still just plastic. But if you can see there, they've texturized that plastic there a bit. And these handholds are actually pretty well done. If I compare that to the last quad I did that was RTF, it's much bigger. It's much bigger, but if we flip them over, it has that same sort of handholds, and it has a little bit of a different texture. I didn't notice it nearly as much over here, but I noticed it on this one, and you can see the different sizes in the hand grips. Hopefully that's coming through in the light. So I found this to be pretty comfortable. Not that the other one wasn't, but it was just, it caught my eye, and it was surprising. We have the battery hatch. I've already got 4 cheapo batteries in there. And also we should take a look at the manual, because it's somewhat impressive. But here it is, a full color manual, and it has water right there, and it shows it going in it. And does a pretty good job. It's multi-language. It's full color all the way through. It talks about the camera installation, but we don't have the camera installation. It talks about charging. Oh, calibration, which is something that comes up with these all the time. Calibrating is down to the right with both. So if you have a crash and it doesn't seem to be flying quite right, or it's not quite hovering correctly, down and to the right will resolve that. But it goes through flying and flipping. We've got our parts list. We've got a problems and solution. And oh, I missed it. Where'd it go? There was something I wanted to show in this that I thought was interesting. Oh, it's got a training guide or a practice guide in here, which is something that I remembered actually doing and probably reading. I don't remember what it was for, but there's a website out there where it talks about flying helicopters, and one of the training methods is this. You just get your quad and you hover it and you try to keep it inside a circle, and you do that, and when you start to get that point, then you move on to flying a square pattern. It's kind of a, I think they call it a 4-point pattern, and then you do the cross. And really when you do the cross, you should fly it out, turn it around, fly it back, turn it around, fly it out to the left, turn around, fly it out to the right, turn it around, and then bring it back. So you start to learn the nose-in orientation. So I don't know, it's kind of a geeky thing, but I thought the manual was pretty well done, and it was in color, so good on JJRC. It does come with a nice box that has a carrying handle, and it's all well packaged. Prop guards. Prop guards are double also as a bit of a gear cover here. They would just go over the top, and they snap on slightly, but it doesn't want to stay in, and then you put your screws here and here. You can see from this view that the prop guard does come above the prop, so if you're flying indoors, the prop guard in theory should help keep the prop from hitting the ceiling. These are pretty flexible, but the flex in this has a lot to do with the fact that you're not dealing with a lot of a weight. There's not a lot of inertia going to be involved because this thing is so light. With the camera version, I'm sure you're going to be adding, 15 or 20 grams, so that's a little bit of a different story. Back to the GearBest videos. On the GearBest website, they actually show this thing flying with clipped props, and then they stomp on the thing and it flies off. So this appears to be a very robust quad. I won't be stomping on it because that just hurts my heart a little bit, but we have extra props. We're going to cut these ourselves, so we're going to see if we can't replicate most of what GearBest has done on their website and validate it. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's get started. Oh, is it sinking? Oh, it's fully submerged.
And we're off. Oh, I missed. Huh, I'm missing a bunch. Don't know how to fly. Oh, I got out of that one. Nope. Not getting out of it this time. Bloop. Oh, upside down. Oh, and I got out of it. Not only is it waterproof, but if you're quick, it can take right off from the water. Water in the grass. Oh! Now watch this. I'm gonna run into this pole. See how it was staying in the air a little bit? That's crazy. If I hit it. Haha, it can't take me down. Oh, water. Oh, I can't get out this time. Go in there, it goes under. Oh, do we have LVC or something? No. Oh. Maybe too much water inside the motors? Hope the camera's not getting wet, because I am. Oh, LVC. No more flips. Dang it. Oh, and that's it. It landed. No more power. This is all mode 1. It's pretty docile, but if you're new, this would probably be a good place to start learning the 4 corners drill. Let's go to rate 2. You see we get a lot more pitch. Fair amount of roll and yaw. We got our flips. For some reason, whenever you do a right flip, it really pulls hard to the left afterwards. Now watch when I do a left roll. It stays much more in place. I don't know why that is. Front. And back. Now let's do high rates. Pitch. A little bit more. Oh, that's roll, sorry. And pitch, let me turn it sideways. And then the yaw gets kind of out of hand. See that? That's ridiculous. I'm gonna fly in rate 2 because that yaw is pretty difficult to control. You see we're getting quite a bit of pitch from rate 2 as well. You can kind of do acrobatics with it, but it self-levels so hard that do a barrel roll coming at us. Or try to. Yeah, see how it leveled out a lot before it barrel rolled? That one's a little bit better. It's still not great. It does it pretty fair, but it self-levels so hard that forward flight rolls and flips aren't going to be that great. Just decent. About as quick as I can do that. But it flies fun. It's agile. You can turn on a dime. You got plenty of pitch, plenty of yaw. It's virtually still right now. You can see in the distance some of the tree leaves are moving a little bit, but not much. Oh, I've got the throttle pegged. We're getting low. Must be on LVC. Yeah. No power. And eventually, just can't get itself off the ground.
Those freaking came out. Hey, it is waterproof. Looking like it. Haha. Daddy, I said don't fly it too high. Hey, listen.
I have to get it up high enough where Mom can show what's going on, honey.
I want it. Back up. Guido. Oh, how do we soak it with the bucket? Probably too much water. Hey, look, could you put on a higher power for the hose? Higher power, your hose.
Couldn't see it.
Sorry. My bad. Yeah, like that.
That sure pushes me out of the way, doesn't it?
Yep. Somebody give me the hose. Don't get Get away from my lawn. Get on my lawn. Get out of my lawn. Mom. I think this works well. I think it's basically waterproof.
Back at the desk, final thoughts. You know, for $30, less than $30, I think it's $26.99 right now. It's hard to beat something that is this durable and flies this well, has an on-off switch, and has a controller that feels well, comes with extra sunglasses. I'll say one thing about the battery. I don't suggest keeping this in water for a long period of time because water does seep into the battery compartment and that is shorting it out. And typically what you'll find is that every time you soak it, the battery drains, and basically the battery is draining through at the short and it's probably shortening its life. So getting it wet is one thing, completely soaking a lithium polymer battery is something else. The battery compartment stays relatively dry, but it does get some in there. You can see that I tried the trick where you cut the blades just like in their GearBest website, and I cut them in a way that I was really certain it wouldn't work. If you look, I cut them both on the same side and both would rotate this way, creating propulsion or lift, and with those both cut, it won't lift. So there are limits to what you can do with some of the GearBest advertising that they have on their site, but it is very durable. I don't think you'll ever need the second set of propellers. These are so flexible. I don't know what it would take to break these. Honestly, I don't know what it would take to break this whole thing. You know, outside of doing something silly like running it over with a car or something, I think this is a really nice unit, and for the price, it's unbeatable. I didn't have any range issues. I was running it all the way across the cul-de-sac into the neighbor's front yard, which I estimate is about 40-50 meters, which is kind of typical flying because you get much further away than that and you can't tell which way you're going. I think you could do an upgrade for 6mm motors and see if you can get some extra power. One thing I would suggest that if this is your first quad, which I think it's a perfectly acceptable quad, I think somebody can have a nice time progressing through their flying skills with this particular one. Low levels are pretty docile, and high is just outrageous. I don't think too many will use high just for do anything other than to just make it spin like a top and show friends. And then you can always add the cam later. Maybe that's an FPV cam. We'll have to see. Is the prop protectors actually double as a cover for the gears, and because these props are so flexible, I wouldn't bother with the protectors, but I would snip off the protection part and put the gear protectors on, because that's going to help you keep debris and other things that are in there, and also help your motors last longer. So if anything gets in there, you know, that creates wear, it creates disbalance or torque issues. Unless you're really good about every time you coming down and getting in there real close and taking a real fine look to make sure nothing comes in there, I'd suggest putting those on. Other than that, for me, I think it's a buy. I think it's really good. I'm actually kind of surprised. I expected something to go wrong, but I'm perfectly happy with it. If you have any questions or comments, leave those in the section down below. If there's something you'd like to see me do with this, outside of ruining it, I think it's a nice quad. I'd hate to break it. But if there's something within reason you'd like to see me do with it, I would sure try to accommodate as much as possible. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. I do reviews like this. I do builds like this. I got a tiny hoop. I build FPV gear. All sorts of fun stuff. I really enjoy this hobby, and I just try to learn as much as I can and then spread that knowledge through YouTube. So hit that subscribe button, you won't miss a thing. And for all you subscribers, thank you. Thanks for watching.